This changes the Mavericks' future forever. And as we all know, the Dallas Mavericks will be selecting Cooper Flagg with the number 1 overall pick, which leaves a lot more questions unanswered as the money will get tight in Dallas. When we sign Cooper Flagg, he will be pushing us into that second apron when we already know we have to extend Daniel Gafford, we have to extend PJ Washington. Kyrie Irving has a player option, but we're still not sure if he's going to take that option or renegotiate for another contract. But the Dallas Mavericks are still in need of a point guard, which leaves many people speculating what is the next move that Dallas will make. And earlier today, there was a trade floating around that got a lot of Mavericks fans talking, and that is a trade where the Dallas Mavericks acquired Derrick White from the Boston Celtics, but we end up giving them way too much that would really hurt the Mavericks more than it would help them. So, in this video, we're going to take a look at Derrick White, see how well he's been playing for the Celtics, is this the type of player that we want to look at, and whether or not a trade would even be possible. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, we're currently sitting at 20,768 subscribers, and as always, it may be the offseason, but it's not my offseason. I'm bringing you content at a very consistent basis, but if you don't want to miss out on a single thing that is Mavericks related, make sure you subscribe. But, like I said, the Dallas Mavericks will be selecting Cooper Flagg with the number 1 overall pick. It's already set in stone. Patrick Dumont made sure that he put the word out himself, so other rival executives don't bog down Nico Harrison with enticing trade packages of Bronny James or Joel Embiid or Jaylen Brown from the Celtics or any other crazy trade that I've seen online. We know for a fact that we are going to draft Cooper Flagg, and also understand that there's a lot of people out there that still don't believe it until it happens. We all know what happened in February, so who knows? More crazier things have obviously happened with this franchise. But with the drafting of Cooper Flagg, we are going to be pushed into the second apron, which does make signing players and trading players a little bit tricky for the Mavericks. And on this channel, we've talked about certain players that are up for an extension that are also being thrown around in trade rumors. And one of those players is PJ Washington. As it was reported by Mark Stein, there's a very decent chance they're going to explore the trade market for PJ Washington. That is the reality. That was Mark Stein who had first reported it. And it makes sense. I mean, obviously, Cooper Flagg, he is a small forward who could also play the power forward position. But obviously, we have Anthony Davis, who is going to play the power forward position because he doesn't want to play center, which pushes PJ to the small forward position. But we have Cooper Flagg. A lot of people are wondering whether PJ will take less money to be a backup, or if we somehow find a way to keep PJ in a role that he's okay with the money that he's okay with. It's a very, very tricky situation. But the number one fact that still remains is that we still need some form of just resilience and reliance on our point guard position. Yes, we do have Brandon Williams. Yes, we do have Jaden Hardy. We still technically have Dante Exum or Spencer Dinwiddie, although their contracts have expired. Not sure if we're going to bring any of them back. But there was a trade, I guess, somewhat of a trade report that was reported earlier today. Or not really a trade report, but I guess a trade rumor. Not even a rumor. It was a mock trade. It was that bad. But NBA mock trade on CBS Sports shows that Dallas Mavericks would receive Derrick White, and we would send out to the Boston Celtics PJ Washington, Caleb Martin, Dwight Powell, the 2029 and the 2032 first round pick. Deal or no deal? Now, right off the bat, I'm saying no deal. Not because I don't want Derrick White. I think he'd be amazing for this team. I think in a starting point guard position until Kyrie comes back, he could definitely fit the bill, share some of those minutes with Brandon Williams and any other guard, Najee Marshall as well. I like Derrick White. He provides a lot of defense. He can shoot the ball very well. Everything that we would need in a backup guard, you have in Derrick White. I mean, he helped the Celtics win the championship last year. Unfortunately, they lost in the second round this year, but Derrick White is still a great role player, definitely a great backup point guard. And how well has he been this season? Well, let's take a look. For the season, he's been averaging 16.4 points, 4.5 rebounds, 4.8 assists, 1.1 blocks, 0.9 steals, 1.7 turnovers, and 1.8 fouls per game, while averaging 44% from the field and 38% from three. Like I said, the shooting splits are amazing. That's exactly what we need. He's not too short of a guard. I mean, he's 6'4". That's a pretty decent size for a point guard. He's only 30 years old. Some people would say that's old, but when you see Derrick White play, he is not affected by his age. Still able to put up 16.4 points, 4.5 rebounds, 4.8 assists, many nights coming off the bench. But in a starting role for the Dallas Mavericks, I'm not upset by it. I think think Derrick White would be amazing for this team. I think he could hold things down until Kyrie comes back, and he would bring the type of championship pedigree that this team could use. Now, obviously, we have Anthony Davis, we have Kyrie Irving, we have Klay Thompson. We have 3 guys who have already won championships. And, of course, we have Jason Kidd, who's also won a championship. But getting more of that championship pedigree, players that know how to win, who have won, can only help this team even more. But the problem therein lies is what we have to give up, which is absolutely just out of the question. If we take a look at this trade again, we're giving them P.J. Washington, Caleb Martin, and Dwight Powell, and 2 first-round picks, and we're only getting Derrick White back. Now, obviously, the way salary works, you would have to kind of pile up on players. Derrick White is making about $20+ million per year. We'll look at the contract in a little bit. But I'm not really cool with giving up PJ, Caleb Martin, and Dwight Powell. Now, obviously, Dwight Powell doesn't really do too much. I understand why he would be involved in trades. We're kind of just dumping him. And since we got him from the Celtics, why don't we send him back to Boston, right? Caleb Martin, I feel like, could be traded by the end of the summer. Not too sure if he's going to be on the roster to start the season. He could definitely be used as trade filler. But those 2 first-round picks, that's where I draw the line. Maybe we package up just PJ, Caleb, Dwight, and some second-round pick. Maybe we can talk about it. But 2 first-round picks and PJ Washington, you're giving up way too much defense, way too much size, way too much rebounding, and you're hurting your depth. And like I said, the contract of Derrick White starts this upcoming season. That's when his extension kicks in, where he's going to be making more money. And if we're already going to be in the second apron, I don't think this trade fixes our money situation where you're sending out 3 players, getting back 1, and you have 2 more roster spots that you've got to figure out how you're going to fill. If we take a look at this right here, like I said, Derrick White this upcoming season is owed about $28 million, and it increases year over year to $30 million, $32 million, and $34. And like I said, he's 30, about to turn 31 this upcoming season. He'll be 34 at the end of his contract. I don't think his age is that big of a problem, especially for someone who can easily come off the bench for the Mavericks once when Kyrie comes back, or maybe even share that starting role until Kyrie starts to get his rhythm back. But it is way too expensive. We're giving up way too much. And honestly, this trade sounds like someone who wants to watch the Dallas Mavericks make another bad decision. After Nico traded away Luka, a lot of people think that we're going to trade away anybody. Yeah, I'll trade you the number 1 pick for Joel Embiid. I'll trade the number 1 pick for Paul George. It makes absolutely no sense. Just because one bad trade happened doesn't technically mean every bad trade will happen after that. The Dallas Mavericks have already made it abundantly clear that we're going to select Cooper Flagg with the number 1 pick. And I would also imagine that whatever point guard we go out and look for won't have to cost us too much of our depth or our draft capital. Not saying that Derrick White's not worth it, but right now, I'm saying he's not worth it. And if we take a look right here, the Boston Celtics have a lot of issues on their hands. Shams on the Mavs saying, I'm told the Mavs will be pursuing a point guard, whether that's in the trade market or free agency. That's a big priority for them. So yes, so Derrick White could be a player that we're looking at amongst many other point guards. It is something that needs to happen, and I'm sure it will happen. But as far as the Celtics go, Jaylen Brown was playing through a partially torn meniscus during the playoffs, and on top of that, Boston Celtics All-NBA star Jayson Tatum underwent surgery to repair a torn right Achilles tendon, catastrophic season-ending injury for one of the NBA's young faces, and the Celtics with a long rehab awaiting. So yes, you've got Jaylen Brown with his own issue. You've got Jayson Tatum, who had to get surgery for his torn right Achilles tendon. You've got Kristaps Porzingis, who no one knows what was wrong with Kristaps Porzingis in the second round of the playoffs. So it stands to reason that there will be changes in the Boston Celtics roster. If we take a look at their contract situation, which honestly, it's probably worse than ours. Look at that. Their first apron space is negative $15 million, and their second apron space, negative $4 million. They don't have the money to necessarily fix things, and with these injuries to some of their starters, they're going to have to offload some contracts. Probably Drew Holiday, maybe Derrick White, Kristaps Porzingis, some of the bench guys. Obviously, Tatum and Brown most likely will still be on the team, but their other role players could definitely be picked up, and a player like Derrick White, sure, wouldn't mind it. Just don't want to give him 2 first-round picks, PJ and Dwight Powell. Don't want to give up Dwight Powell for nothing. You want to make sure you get a king's ransom for Dwight Powell. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think Derrick White is the player for the Mavericks? Is this a trade that you would do? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We can have a conversation about it. But that's what I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below, as well as our Spotify. Make sure you subscribe to us on Spotify. But until next time, y'all take care. Drink water. Peace.